What's up, world? WRPF podcast, episode 46. I believe I need no introduction. If you are a listener of this podcast, you know I'm your host. You know it's your boy Alex Uslar. And you should know that we are 3.5 weeks out from the Ghost Clash 3. You should also know the Ghost Clash 3 is my baby. All right. I am the founder, the meet director, the man behind the Ghost Clash. This will be the sixth professional pro level powerlifting competition I have ran, the fifth one under the WRPF Federation. Before I started and founded the Ghost Clash, I was the meet director behind the Hybrid Showdown when I worked for Hybrid Performance Method from 2017 until 2020. And then in 2021 is when the Ghost Clash started, when I branched off on my own to open Ghost Gym Miami and to partner up with my ex-business partner, Tim, to take over Ghost Strong Gear and help Ghost Strong Equipment grow and ultimately grow the Ghost name with him is where the Ghost Clash was born. Ghost Clash was born kind of as a continuation following suit of what I had been doing with a hybrid showdown. It was something that I was inspired by watching pro level powerlifting competitions, before hosting my own in 2014, 2015, 2016, watching meets like the US Open. However, the US Open was strictly a pro level meet. You had to qualify, you had to be invited, etc. But on the other side, watching meets like Boss of Bosses, which had an open registration format as well, beyond just the pro invite only aspect. So that's where, in 2017, starting with the first hybrid showdown, I started kind of that pro am concept where it's, professional invite, the best in the world lifters coming and battling for money. But then you also have your amateurs. It could be your first competition ever, and you can sign up for it. And that's the format that the first hybrid showdown took. It was sanctioned under the USPA, and it was a amateur powerlifting full power competition. And then the pro portion was deadlift only. It was the deadlift showdown, and that right off the bat, that first year throwing together a meet, we had John Hack come out. We had my boy Micah Marino, he competed. We had Dan Bell, I'm sorry, Dan Green, right? Legendary Dan Green, he competed. God, I feel like an asshole forgetting who else competed. That was so freaking long ago. But it was a fantastic deadlift showdown. We gave away prize money, and that was kind of the start of that pro am professional powerlifting meet directing on my end. Continuing into that, we took the format. We went with the WRPF for the second and third hybrid showdown, where day one was amateurs, day two was pro day lifters. Same thing, inviting the best lifters in the world, battling it out for prize money, having a ton of fun. And then in 2021, when I branched off on my own, I was like, all right, let's keep this same format going. And just under the Ghost name, which is now, was partially my own at that time. And that's where the Ghost Clash 1 was formed. There was a ton of obstacles that went into the first Ghost Clash because previously, before that, running the hybrid showdown, we ran it out of the gym, which I ran and managed. And logistics wise, it was, easy running a meet in a gym. It's where you are every day. And then that first year of the Ghost Clash, I looked at tons of different venues. Venues were either already booked, they were out of budget, too expensive. I didn't have enough sponsors, I didn't have enough whatever it may be, and I also wanted to put up, $30,000 prize money, which we did in that first year. I ended up renting out a gym space, and that's where the first Ghost Clash was hosted. It was a massive 20,000 square foot gym, which about a week and a half before, the gym owner tried pulling out, tried telling me I couldn't host the event, I couldn't host the meet there. It's a really long, funny story that only some people know that are in the circle that know about. That literally less than 2 weeks before the meet, they tried telling me, no, sorry, we actually have a baseball seminar we're going to host here instead. Uh, and I'm like, man, I've been advertising this for 6 months. What the hell? And they really tried screwing me, and I had to beg, negotiate. Like I said, 20,000 square foot gym, and ended up convincing them to just be able to let me utilize half the gym, which is all we needed. And they still charged me uh, just shy of $10,000. $10,000 to utilize a gym as a venue. And again, the reason why I had turned down so many actual venues in Miami, different hotel ballrooms, whatever it was, is, because these venues are like 15,000, give or take a little bit. And I'm like, man, that's too much. I can't afford to do that for a gym venue or for a meet venue. And then literally down to the wire, 1 week before, I had to agree to pay these people $10,000 in order to utilize their gym that didn't even have air conditioning. And then they tried saying the day before the event, they're like, hey, by the way, you can't use our bathrooms because we don't want you to break them. And I had porta potties rented as additional facilities, but oh man, it was a nightmare. But that first Ghost Clash, besides those hiccups, besides the heat, besides some different things like that, it was a huge success. We had so many, fantastic lifters come out, so many all-time world records broken, keeping up the same, kind of trajectory that the pro meets that I had ran before that had, besides those minor little hiccups. But then I knew going into year two, I got to make this bigger and better. Screw that gym owner. Not gonna go back there, obviously. So I start shopping for venues, and I find what I think is the ultimate badass venue, right? It's a huge brewery here in Miami, uh, air conditioned brewery. The thing about finding different warehouse style venues in Miami, not a lot of them have AC. The thing about a hotel ballroom is it's so overdone. So many meets are held in hotel ballrooms, and it just got like this kind of stale lighting, and it is what it is. But also in a city like Miami, again, you guys hear me say this word a lot, it's so expensive. And that's the problem about being in, one of the biggest cities in the world, and also one of just the most, inflated cities in the world. It's not like running a meet in Tampa, or somewhere outside of Miami in the middle of Florida where you can rent a hotel ballroom for $3,000 for the weekend. Or if you get enough people to, reserve rooms there, a lot of the time the hotels will tell you, you know what, go ahead. You use our ballroom, you rented out 100 rooms. That's all they care about. I went to probably 6, 7 different hotels, and all of them were like, you need to have 100 rooms filled. Plus, it's going to be 12 grand per day. Plus, you need to buy food from us, like all this crazy stuff. So I tour a couple other different type of event venues, and when I find this brewery, I'm like, man, this place is perfect. It's expensive. All right. It's about a $25,000 venue. Okay. Um, which I say those numbers just so people know, because people are like, oh man, meet directors are greedy and meet directors just want to make money. And with the pro level meets and this, that, and the other, the registration is so expensive for a pro level meet. Yeah. So I spend $25,000 just for the roof over our head, right? Just for the event venue. It's not like a meet that I run in my gym where, guess what? I own my gym. I don't have to pay a single penny to have a meet in my gym. Alone, $25,000 has to go just to that venue. Forget about all the staff. Something that everyone knows that works for me. There's no such thing as volunteering. No matter what you do, if you lift a penny, you're getting paid under me. I do not believe in people who look for volunteers or just give them, free shirts or bags from, whatever sponsors they have. Um, do right by your people so things can grow. And that's, I think, also what helps attribute to the success of this meet and the meets that I've ran. So all to say, I find this amazing venue. I pull the trigger. I write a check. Ghost Clash 2 was in February of last year. Extreme success. Ghost Clash 1 sold out quickly, but Ghost Clash 2 sold out in, I believe it was 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, something like that. Amateur day sold out in like 12, 13 minutes. Pro day only had a couple of spots when it was opened up. Um, Something that I had done in year two over year one is year one of the Ghost Clash for Pro Day. The minimum qualifying dots was 450 in sleeves, 475 in wraps. For year two, last year, we upped that qualifying to minimum 500 dots in sleeves, 525 in wraps, which right away there cut down the amount of people that would even be able to register outside of the invitation portion after invites were sent out. But boom, still sold out in literally a matter of minutes. And was amazing. I loved the venue, loved all the lifters who I had known, who I hadn't met before. We had so much international talent come out. In the first year, we had a couple of international lifters, but last year, we had a bunch of Australians come out, Alana, Lily Riley, just different people to burst out into the scene here in the US and compete. And it was such an honor to be able to host them. So right after the Ghost Clash 2 last year in February, right away planning for the Ghost Clash 3 went into play and decided to move the date back from February, as it was in the first 2 years, to April to space out the amount of time between the American Pro and the Ghost Clash. We announced registration in July of the last year, so that's 9 months before the event or something like that. We announced the registration, started sending out the invites, and Pro Day sold out before it even opened up to the public. So it sold out with all the rounds of invites and the different tiers of invites that we had go out. Amateur day, we decided to expand the format, which we'll talk about scheduling in a second, so that it was a 2-session meet. So we were able to accommodate 30 lifters more on a single day than we had on the previous year. We decided to session it, open that up to the public, sold out in 7 minutes. So it's very exciting to see and be able to say that this is one of the fastest selling powerlifting events in history that I know of. And we just jumped into planning. So July, the meet was already sold out. Date was secured. We rebooked the exact same venue, wrote our check 9 months before to bring it back to the Tank Brewing Co. here in Miami. It's following, like I said, same format as previous years. Saturday, day one is amateur day. The way that we broke it up is into sessions. It's going to be 2 big sessions. It's not 2 small USAPL style sessions of just 30 lifters split going back to back. Each session is going to have about 40 to 45 lifters. 8 a.m. start time on day one, session one. Finish by 1:30. Session 2 begin at 2 p.m. and run until about 7 to 8 p.m. So it's going to be a long day of a lot of lifting. The way it's sessioned out, the lifters aren't going to be there all day. So we'll have our first crowd of people come in the morning, clear out, do awards. Second crowd of people come in the afternoon. It'll be cool to see the morning lifters be done for the day at 2 p.m., be able to hang out, watch their friends, support their friends in the afternoon. The Tank has it's a brewery with a full bar of all kinds of different beer options, food options. Their menu is absolutely insane, which is something really cool about finding, a venue like that with Miami style food and, brewery style food like that. So that's how day one will run. And then day two will follow the same format as how I've always ran my pro level meets. It's all going to be in one session. So old school style, 1 4-flight session. The 4 flights will be divided up into C and D flight being the prime time style flight. So as opposed to the flights being broken up strictly by weight class, they will be broken up by dots qualifying score, with the highest qualifying dot scores lifting together in flights C and D. And it will have a 9 a.m. start time. That's the way kind of the scheduling and formatting will run. As always, A1 Digital will be the live stream provider coming out, bringing you guys the best live stream in the game. We have our photographer, Nick Sapina, returning, doing the shots. A1's crew will be doing video packages. A couple other cool sponsors that we have on board. Of course, we have Zone Smelling Salts returning for the third year, providing all the salts for the platform and also contributing to the prize pool. Something that I do is I have full transparency. I show numbers. I share numbers with all my sponsors. 100% of all sponsor money goes directly to the athlete prize pool. Some meet directors, the sponsor money is divvied up in different ways. They need to allocate that sponsor money towards the venue, paying for a $25,000 venue. They need to allocate that sponsor money towards paying for the live stream. Having that live stream service come out is very expensive and an expense out of my pocket. They might use some of that sponsor money towards going to the paying staff. No, 100% of all sponsor money goes to that ever-growing athlete prize pool. So with our sponsors like Zone Smelling Salts coming back again for the third year, boom, they have contributed to that prize pool. They have helped grow that prize pool. Of course, Pioneer. Without Pioneer, this meet and this prize pool would not be possible. Matt has given tons of money back to this sport, even running Pioneer on the beach last year and giving $100,000. And even while giving that $100,000 last year, his contribution was over $20,000 towards our prize pool that we had last year. He's returning as our title sponsor. So big shout out to Matt and Pioneer. And then we have The Bar, my good friends, Haley and Brian, up in the panhandle of Florida, gym owners, apparel company owners. They're our co-title sponsors, also helping to grow the large prize pool and giving a very large cash contribution. And they'll be present at the event with their own booth space all set up. So make sure to check them out. Then our platinum level sponsors. This year, historically, I've always used Texas bars. We listened to the athletes. People wanted the Kabuki bars. They had some complaints about a Texas squat bar, or the big deadlifters prefer using the Kabuki bar. So we partnered up with Kabuki. They are one of our platinum sponsors. We will have all Kabuki bars on the platform, all Kabuki bars in the warm-up. We will be giving away Kabuki bars to some of the biggest lifts. They'll also be giving away other things to their Kabuki EDU. And they'll also have a booth set up as well. Our other platinum sponsor, this is the first time that I'm announcing it. We're going to be doing more specific marketing closer to the event, but I've been working very closely with Dynabody. Most of you guys know who Dynabody is. They make monoliths, they make comp benches. They've been around for a very long time. They recently went under new ownership, and I am friends with the new owners, and I've had a previous relationship with them. And I find out that they have come to acquire the company and acquire the manufacturing. And so we've partnered up, and I have been working with them to essentially redesign all of their competition equipment. I helped them identify the flaws and the issues that, in my opinion, were in the monolift and the comp bench. And you guys are going to see for the first time on the Ghost Clash platform the new iterations of the Dynalift, the Dynabody monolift, with now added rollers, as a huge needed added feature. And the newest edition of the Dynabody competition bench. That one underwent a huge overhaul. Okay. There was what I find to be quite a few design flaws previously in the competition bench. And if you guys have used one, you may have known this, where the uprights didn't go low enough for a lot of females or shorter athletes. So we redesigned the uprights. We added hand jacks to the bench. We redesigned the spotter platform so that bar isn't in the way and hitting your shins. So it was very cool working with them over behind the scenes over the last 5-6 months to help work on these redesigns. And you guys will be seeing this new equipment debuted on the Ghost Clash 3 platform. My friends over at Dynabody will have a booth set up. They'll be there to talk to other gym owners, talk to other meet directors, people interested in getting some of these new and improved products. Beyond that, we also have Infinite Body Wellness. They were here last year providing IVs. They're coming back again as well this year. Um, and those are our primary sponsors who are going to have physical spaces in the meet. Beyond that, thank you to all the other sponsors who were involved also to help grow this prize pool. We're still looking for other sponsors as well. We've opened up something this year. We're making a social media post about it in the next day or two called a community collaborator. So what that is essentially you can be a single person, an individual, and you can donate anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to be involved as one of our community collaborators and be on one of our special banners and have a social media announcement. And that whether it's $100, $200, $300, all of that goes directly to the prize pool. You get recognition, you see the prize pool grow, and you help contribute to these pro level lifters and getting them the biggest payday possible. Um, so check out our social media. Stay tuned for more information regarding that end of things. Um, Jumping around quite a bit. But yeah, so the sponsors, the venue, everyone is what helps bring this together. But ultimately, it's the athletes, right? It's so cool seeing how my pro level meets have grown over the last 6 years and how this meet has become so in demand. And like I say, Miami is expensive, but Miami is also part of the allure, right? People who are from other countries, like this year we have the most international lifters that we've ever had. Like last year I said we had a ton of international lifters. This year, so many, so many international lifters. Possibly, I'd love to look back on other pro level meets. We may have more international lifters coming out to this meet than any other pro level meet in the US on the pro circuit over the years. I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure we have more international pro level lifters coming out than any past US Open, any past Boss of Bosses. And I'll have to fact check that because I feel pretty strongly about that. And it's very cool to see, and it wouldn't be possible without all these lifters, but also I feel the allure of coming to Miami. Um, Miami's a really cool place. Miami gets a lot of hate. It's not for everyone. Not everyone can live here, but I would never move anywhere else. I freaking love Miami. It's my home. I love having my gym here. I love having my events here, no matter what the cost is associated with it. Some athletes say, "Oh, it's more expensive going to Miami versus, wherever else they might travel for a competition." But ultimately, you turn it into a big vacation. You turn it into a big party. It's at a brewery. You can hang out, party, your whole friends, family, everyone comes out. So big thank you to all the athletes and all the spectators planning to come out. So let's dive into the athletes, shall we? This is kind of your preview show. This is, your hype up show, 3.5 weeks out. You guys may have seen about 1 or 2 weeks ago, we released the roster. We finally made the roster public of all the athletes. We've already had, even since then, we asked, before we made that roster public, hey, please let us know if you're withdrawing. Please let us know if you're withdrawing. We had our withdrawals. We've had a couple more withdrawals since, right? Which is always a bummer. You never want to see it, but we still have such a stacked roster of competitors. I think, and what's so cool to see is the most competitive division that's going to be going down this weekend is our women's Raw with wraps, right? Every division is going to be competitive. Every division is going to be sick to see. But our women's Raw with wraps and also our women's sleeves are the tightest and closest and going to be the tightest battle for that first, second, and third place. Spoiler alert, we haven't announced prize money and prize payouts yet. However, this year we will be paying out first, second, third, fourth, and fifth overall. All right. But ultimately, everyone wants to be top three, right? Even though fourth and fifth are still going to get a paycheck as well, which more info on that will be to come. Those top three spots are ultimately where you're going to see the most hands thrown, right? And the most people battling and wanting to come out on the highest position as possible. So that women's Raw with wraps, right? We literally have seven 7 women with an over 600 dots. When I released, if you guys are following along, looking at the graphic that I released, I had Lily Riley on there with a 590, but she has since that 590 qualifier hit a 606. So a 606 dots puts her in 6th place. A 600 flat dots puts Hannah in 7th place. So your top 5 are all going to be over 600 dots performances, which is absolutely insane. Currently ranked in 5th with a 622 dots is going to be Jamie Morris. She was one of our recent guests on the podcast, and she's coming to us from Australia, one of our international lifters. All right. Ranked in 4th place overall with a 623 dots, just 1 dots point ahead of 5th place in rankings is Jen Hazard. All right. Again, another guest that you've heard us listen to recently. She is a mom. She's a teacher. She is a badass all-time world record holder. And I'm excited to see what she pulls out now, having Joe Sullivan as her coach, guiding her. I don't foresee seeing her, in 5th place. I foresee her fighting for that those top 3 positions, right? Now, ranked in 3rd, I need to do a quick check because, again, when I released this in my roster that I have in front of me, was what people registered at. However, scores have changed since. I originally had Denise Herbert ranked in 3rd from her last year's Ghost Clash performance of the 641 dots. However, that has since changed at the American Pro to 658. So she's actually ranked in 2nd. All right. And then that bumps Briani ranked in 3rd with a 653 dots. All right. So that graphic, if you guys are following along, is incorrect. Denise is ranked in 2nd with a 658. Briani ranked in 3rd with a 653, right? And that leaves ranked in 1st place none other than Hunter Henderson, right? So Hunter has had some insane performances. Her qualifying 687, though, that dots she hit was about 3 years ago. All right. It was done in wraps. It was done 3 years ago. Since she's competed multiple times raw, she's also gone up a weight class. So most recently, her best wrapped performance was at the American Pro and was with a 669 dots. So as you can see, that puts her much, much closer to Denise and Briani as it goes with recent dots performances. Right? You see a 687, you're like, okay, she's 30 points ahead of everyone else. No one will come close. But again, that was at a different weight class 3 years ago, gone up a weight class, gotten stronger, but going up a weight class is obviously going to affect what that dot score will be. All 3 of these ladies went head to head just 4 months ago at the American Pro, but they also were going against Christy Hawkins then. And Christy Hawkins is that one who has a spread way above them. So there was no battle for first. If Christy got her numbers in, she was sure shot first, not needing to hit a single PR. So they were battling for 2nd and 3rd. Now we have those three ladies all pretty much neck and neck with their recent performances, battling for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But one wrong move, one wrong mistake leaves Jen Hazard and Jamie tons of room to make up and jump towards that 640, 650 dots, right? Jamie, if you guys listen to the recent podcast, has no problem making crazy YOLO jumps and just going balls to the wall. So women's raw with wraps, that is going to be absolutely insane, absolutely stacked to watch. So don't miss out on that primetime flight of ladies going head to head. Our women's raw, same deal that I just talked about. Super, super stacked. Our top 3 all have over 600 dots in sleeves. All right. All 3, 2nd and 3rd being extremely close. 4th being someone who's hit an over 600 dots in wraps, but now she's coming in sleeves. And if you guys are following along on the graphic, Uh, Ranked in fifth was Shireen, who has recently needed to withdraw due to just needing to get her body healthy. So that leaves us Haley Hill, currently ranked in fifth. Haley is also someone who has hit a massive 600 plus dots, also in wraps, also at a different weight class. Has taken a ton of time to build herself up raw. Said she's done with the wraps, building as raw, building as a 148 lifter. So that 553 dots is not scratching the surface of what Haley is capable of. And I'm super, super excited to see. So Haley currently ranked in fifth with that 553, but Lord knows what she's going to end up being able to hit. Brittany Bowles ranked in fourth with a 587, someone who's done 600 in wraps, but Brittany also is bumping up a weight class. She, like Haley, has competed at 132, but now she's going up to 148. She wants to see what she can do at a heavier weight class. But obviously, with a heavier weight class comes a slash to the dots, right? So to be determined what happens with those fourth and fifth place ranking spots. Those top three, though, those ladies that are ranked in fourth and fifth are going to have to do some serious work to be able to give the top three ladies a run for their money, right? Angelina Bennett coming in with a 614 dots as a 123. She competed at last year's Ghost Clash. She competed at the American Pro recently. Wraps, sleeves, whatever she does, she dominates. She is strong as hell. Ranked in second place, I am super excited for Naomi Shepard to return to the Ghost Clash platform. Naomi was the Ghost Clash 1's winner. She hit all-time world records. No one knew who she was. She put her name on the map at the first Ghost Clash. Her and her husband, nicest goddamn people. Loved having them, loved meeting them. They were supposed to come for the Ghost Clash 2. She was battling an injury. Here she is coming back in sleeves now. 623 dots qualifier, Naomi Shepard. And in first place, your top rank dominant lifter, Samantha Rice, right? Sam Rice, 644 dots raw. She is an all-time world record holder in multiple weight classes, multiple principles, deadlift, squat. She historically competed at 198. She's going 181 again. All right. Her dots is going to skyrocket. I would not be surprised if we see a 655, a 660 dots in sleeves from her, which will be just absolutely absurd. Let me check something really quick. I love to have my open powerlifting open. So if she hits a 660 dots, that will give her the second highest women's dots in sleeves of all time, right? Next to Christy Hawkins. She'll be able to beat out Mariana 659 dots, which is the second highest women's dots of all time. So Sam Rice, a force to be reckoned with. Super excited to finally have her on the Ghost Clash platform. This is her Ghost Clash debut. I've tried having her come down for the first and second. Timing didn't work out. Boom, we got her. All those other ladies, second, third, fourth, and fifth, have all been on the Ghost Clash platform before. They're all making their return and going to have to give Sam a run for their money. Moving on to our men's Raw with wraps. All right. So again, a couple of small changes in here. If you're looking at your top 5 men on the graphic on social media, that's no longer accurate because Justin Zottel has made this change to compete in sleeves. So your 4th ranked man in wraps is going to be Nadir Hayden. Nadir competed last year at the Ghost Clash, and he competed on amateur day. All right. I do not believe he had the qualifying 525 dots at that time. I do know he hit, I think, an over 500 dots at the Ghost Clash, but it also still wasn't quite 525. He wanted to sign up for Pro Day, and I told him, I'm sorry, you don't have the qualifying Pro Day dots. He signed up for Amateur Day. Again, for this year, he was set to compete on Amateur Day. And then at the American Pro, had a massive performance with a 566 dots. sent me a message. We had an opening. We were able to move him from amateur day to pro day, rightfully so. Right, Nadir earned his spot on pro day, currently sitting in 5th ranking overall with that 566 dots. Ranked 4th overall, Jimbo Cooper, last year's podcast guest, someone who has not been on a platform in 5 years, is making his return. I lied. Again, there's another change on there. Jimbo is also changing to sleeves in addition to Justin Zottel, so that bumps him out also of our men's Raw with Wraps. So our 3rd ranked then will be Luke Tolman, another international lifter coming to us. 583 dots. Currently, he's historically competed at 220. He's making the jump up to 242. He's put up some massive training numbers, has some massive numbers in mind. Super excited to see what he can hit and put together dots-wise at a higher weight class. Ranked in 2nd, Mr. Shane Holler. It's been a minute since Mr. Florida man Shane Holler threw on some knee wraps. All right, that 584 dot score, he's dotsed over that in sleeves. All right, his wrap score is outdated. Your boy is going to come in and give #1 ranked position a run for his money. All right, Florida man Shane Holler, one of my favorite guys around. All right, he competed at the first Ghost Clash. Shane and I go back in Florida powerlifting back to 2017. We've known each other for a long time, and he's always been significantly stronger, significantly more jacked, but I would not say significantly more better looking than me. I'd say I'm about here. He's like right here, really close, really, really close. And ranked in 1st place, we have Boris Teskov. Man, I learned how to say his name a couple weeks ago and I forgot. We have Boris. All right. Boris coming to us with that 611 dot score qualifier recently from ABS Pro. 242 weight class, always weighs in at a light 242. And if you listen to his recent podcast episode, he's coming for Yuri Belkin. It's only a matter of time before he wipes Yuri Belkin out of the history books as far as ranking of numbers go, and he takes over those spots. And I'm super excited to see what he can pull together at the Ghost Clash, and if he's able to take a crack at some of those records. Men's Raw with Wraps, super, super stacked, but not as stacked as our men's Raw in sleeves. All right. We did have a couple pullouts as well. One pullout was someone that didn't even know was originally on the roster, but we originally had Dan Grigsby on the roster, ranked in 4th overall. All right. Then another recent pullout, which is a bit disappointing because of all the controversy behind him, is we had Raymond Phillips pull out. He tore his bicep, sent me a picture of the MRI, etc., the MRI report to confirm. So Raymond Phillips would have been, if you're looking at the graphic, your 5th ranked lifter. Now, he's ranked 5th with a 586 dot score, which was done allegedly at the 148 weight class. There's a lot of controversy behind this. A lot of controversy, rightfully so. You guys can look up online and find out more information about that. He weighed in, I believe, at 139 or 140, and has also competed at 181 and says he walks around at 200 pounds. So it's a 30% water cut. He had registered at the Ghost Clash as a 165. And then after a lot of people saying comments to him, he said, okay, I will cut to 148 for the Ghost Clash. The most legit place to do it, the most legit place where you can silence everyone. There is no cheating a weigh in or, not weighing in front of someone or whatever allegations may be thrown out at the Ghost Clash. That's not going to happen, right? Unfortunately, he did sustain an injury, though, so he will not be able to prove himself otherwise at this meet. But I feel confident that there'll be other opportunities, and I do hope that he will step up to take that challenge at one of our WRPF prestigious meets, even a regional meet, a national meet, whatever it may be, where we know there's no room for any of those issues. His weigh-ins allegedly has broken some of the RPS's own rule book uh rules as far as going down and breaking records multiple weight classes below what you actually walk around at. A rule that is not in the WRPF rule book, but is in the RPS rule book. And some of the things done his performance does contradict the rules in that rule book. However, it's not our rules to enforce. Um, so I hope that Raymond will get healthy, and I hope maybe we'll see him on the American Pro platform later this year, where he can show us his performance at 148. All right. Moving on from controversy. All right. Our next four lifters, tried and true people who have been on the biggest platforms, the biggest stages over and over and over. Ranked in fourth place, Phil Herndon, 593 dot score. Phil is a insanely strong motherfucker, someone who has received tons and tons of hate, takes it all, proves people wrong, sometimes bombs out, sometimes breaks all-time world records. Phil is a class act. He takes all the BS that people throw at him extremely well. He doesn't go all internet warrior crazy on them. He just hold his head down, shows up at the next pro meet, and does better. He bombed out of the first American Pro, nearly bombed out of the second American Pro, but got his third attempt. And still, he has put up massive, massive performances, earned his spot as one of the best in the world, earned his all-time world records. Coming to us with a 593 dots. I think we're going to see him break into that 600 dots for the first time. No problem. Excited to see what he puts up. Ranked in third, we have Blake LeHue. Again, someone who has been on almost every single pro platform over the last couple of years. This is actually going to be Blake's debut to the Ghost Clash platform. He has not competed at the Ghost Clash yet. So I'm super excited to see him. He is competing at 198, historically being a 181 lifter with his 620 dot score qualifier. Second place ranking, Jamal Browner. You guys know him. 624 dots, multiple all-time world records at the 242 weight class, right? Is one of the best deadlifters of all time, an extremely, extremely well-rounded athlete. You can't just call him a deadlift specialist. He's making his Ghost Clash debut. He had competed at my meets historically, the Hybrid Showdown, breaking his first all-time world records there when he first deadlifted 970. Such an epic, awesome moment. I love reliving that moment. And he's finally making it down to the Ghost Clash for the Ghost Clash 3. I'm super excited to see what he can put together to break his own all-time world records. And first place in men's raw, need no introduction, Mr. John Hack, Mr. America, Mr. 661 dot score, Mr. 198. All right. John is one of those that he competes back to back to back, comes to all the pro meets, takes all the first place checks. You sometimes see him come out with one or two PRs. Sometimes you see him come out with all PRs. So I'm excited to see what John puts together on the day, which one of his lists is shining the most. If he finally breaks that 198 all-time world record squat of 804, I believe it is. I know he tried loading it at the American Pro. So I'd like to see that all-time world record squat finally be broken for him. If he breaks his own deadlift, John Hack, like I said, need no introduction. He's going to come. He's going to show out. He's going to win some money. That's all the athletes, guys. That's my rundown. That's my preview. That's my my recap of our goddamn amazing roster for the Ghost Clash 3. We're 3.5 weeks away from Miami. If you guys haven't booked your tickets, book your flight. It's going to be a freaking party. It's the best venue. You're going to have a great time. You're going to have great food. You're going to see some great lifting go down. Tons of stuff to do in the Miami area. Make sure you purchase your pre-sale tickets. Pre-sale tickets are going to close a week out from the event. So you only have a little over 2 weeks left to get your pre-sale tickets before they close. Save some money. You'll pay more money at the door. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. All you athletes, if you're listening, stay healthy. We'll see you in 3.5 weeks, and we'll still have a few more guests before the Ghost Clash that are competing on our platform. Thank you guys for tuning in to the WRPF podcast.